That warm bowl of oatmeal you may have had this morning, that granola bar you tossed into your backpack for an afternoon snack, the oat milk you saw in the dairy section of the grocery store, they're all testaments to the flexibility and popularity of oats. Strangely, this major cereal grain was one of the last to be domesticated in Europe, but that was thousands of years ago. For the first few hundred years, we used oats primarily as a form of animal feed. Maybe that was because of their very mild flavor, or more likely it was because of their tendency to mold. We have gotten a lot better at keeping oats fresh. We still feed them to animals, but we've also come up with countless delicious and nutritious ways for humans to eat oats. I'm Charity Nebbe. On this episode of Iowa Ingredient, we'll find out how oats are grown and processed in Iowa and meet a resourceful farmer who makes it his way of life. Then Chef Katy Meyer from Iowa City will cook up a couple of recipes that will help us savor the texture and versatility of oats. All that and more coming up next on Iowa Ingredient.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient is provided by the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and the River Center, and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business, located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines. And Friends, the Iowa PBS Foundation.
Making this brown vegetable style is actually seaweed.
Olive oil, honey, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and lemon juice.
It is. These are really, really good. Salud.
Salud.
Oats have staying power, not just in culinary history, but also in our bellies. They have more soluble fiber than any other grain, so when you eat oats, that full feeling you have stays around for longer. They have other health benefits too. They can help lower your cholesterol. They're really popular in a lot of anti-inflammatory diets, and they're packed with nutrients. They can also be processed in so many different ways. At any major grocery store, you can find whole oats, rolled oats, steel-cut oats, quick oats, instant oats, and oat flour. They're a very versatile grain.
I really enjoy it because oats are fun to harvest when everything's working well. If they've fallen down, it's not a fun day. But when everything is standing up and all the settings are made, oats are really fun. In general, a cool year in Iowa is better for oats. So this year we've had our challenges because we've had some heat in the summertime, and that tends to make the oats a little bit lighter. And the seed kernel is just a little bit light, which means it doesn't have quite as much food or feed value. So we like a nice heavy oat, and that helps when you get nice heavy oats when you have a cool year.
Aaron Lehman is the 5th generation on this Century farm, just north of Des Moines. 100 years ago, oats were a big crop in Iowa when they were used to feed working animals. Today, most oats are grown on smaller family farms.
The crops that we grow in the organic rotation include oats, followed by either clover or alfalfa, corn, and soybeans. The year of oats helps break up the weed cycle, so we have better control of our weeds by adding oats to the rotation, but it also takes in nitrogen from the air and puts it in the soil for use in our corn crop, which will follow after this year. All those things have to happen by a system as opposed to bringing in synthetic inputs into it. Our organic side of the operation really relies on having a good small grain, and oats is what we use. It also serves as a nurse crop for clover or alfalfa coming up. And that the clover and alfalfa serves as a forage for feed to livestock.
People like to eat oats too, and for that they need to be processed. Aaron's oats will go to grain millers in St. Ansgar, Iowa. Grain millers can receive up to 200,000 bushels of oats per day by truck and by rail. Oats are stored until they can be processed. First, oats are cleaned and dehulled.
We need to remove the outer husk or hull around the oat to really get to the internal seed of the oat, and the internal part is called the oat groat. There's a saying that a groat is an oat without a coat. That groat is what traditional oat products are made from.
Next, the oats go through a kilning process to increase their shelf life and are sorted by size. Quality and consistency are checked along the way.
Those large groats typically stay in old-fashioned oatmeal that you would find in your hot cereal tube. The smaller groats go into steel cuts. Steel cuts can then be further processed into quick oatmeal or instant cooking oatmeal. Those whole groats and steel cuts can also be turned into oat flour of various forms or oat bran. And oat bran is really concentrating on the outer layer of the oat groat itself.
Every bit of the oat is used to make some kind of product. Nothing is wasted.
We make a product, a fiber product that is derived from the oat hull. That product goes into various baking products, whether it be cake mixes, breads, cookies, or muffins. It is high in total dietary fiber. Oats, they really stick to you. I think when you're growing up as a kid, you have a bowl of oatmeal before school, and you're not hungry, you're focused all day long. I think that's one of the big benefits to the oats. They're also very diverse in the types of products they go into. Even beverages, the oat milk market is an increasing and growing market here in the US, so the versatility of the oat and the things you can sneak the oat in for their health benefits is almost endless.
Hi, my name is Katy Meyer. I am the chef owner of Trumpet Blossom Cafe in Iowa City.
Yeah, I was going through emails trying to find something that you had emailed me, and I saw when you're like, hey, we're thinking about these ingredients, what do you think? And I was like,
Okay, so I think I've done 9 episodes.
I know myself overall.
Now that I know kind of how it all works, how the whole TV cooking thing works, I feel like I've kind of progressed and tried to do a little bit more each time.
I forgot what.
It's also strange because a lot of these recipes, well, a lot of them aren't really recipes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have recipes for you this time.
It's neat that people do take the time to watch and to learn, and it's like I want people to come to my restaurant and buy my food and support my business, but I also want them to enjoy good food in their homes. I want people to enjoy good food all the time. I'm a pretty humble person.
And talk about how it can be a little dirty, so I think I'll have a bowl of water.
But there's also a part of me that really kind of likes the spotlight a little bit.
Plate for the week, and then, yeah, we need a plate for...
It's super fun to have a camera pointed on me, which is so silly to say.
Pull the baked one out, slice it, plate it with a little apple, and eat it. It's great.
But I also enjoy it. I do, yeah. I'll admit it. It's so fun. I say that anytime anyone mentions that they saw me on TV, and I'm always like, oh, I was so nervous the first time, but it's so much fun and I look forward to it, and it's a really neat thing that I'm able to do, so I appreciate it.
now we are in the kitchen with Chef Katy. We're going to cook with oats, and we're going to make something that I never would have thought to make. So
Yeah.
tell me all about this.
So we are using oats in some breading. We're going to bread some tempeh.
Explain what tempeh is.
Yeah, so tempeh is made out of soybeans. So if you're familiar at all with tofu, it's similar, but the difference is that when they make tofu, they blend the soybeans, right? So when you make tempeh, you keep the soybeans whole, and you actually add an inoculant. So it is a fermented soybean product, which it eats better than it sounds.
And it's got nice chewy texture.
Yeah, it has texture on its own. It's got kind of even like a little nutty flavor on its own. So you can get this pretty much at any grocery store. It really likes moisture, and it really likes salt. So you do want to take, we took this out of the package and marinated it and baked it first to give it some flavor before we do all this, which is really helpful. You could just take it out of the package and do this, but you probably wouldn't enjoy it quite as much.
All right.
So the tempeh is ready to go. I'm using rice flour to keep it gluten-free.
Okay. So you could use wheat flour if that's it's flexible.
Yeah, yeah. And just a little cornstarch to help bind it. This, our liquid is coconut milk and soy sauce and a little water to thin it out. And then our spice blend here, I have some fine ground black pepper and also some coarse ground black pepper.
And it smells very peppery in here.
It does,
That's a
yeah.
lot of pepper.
It's a lot of pepper. It's a counterintuitive amount of pepper. You wouldn't normally season things with this much pepper, but we really want to get the flavor from it, and we really want to get like a little heat from the black pepper, which is something that I feel like you don't get a lot just from like typical table peppercorns. We also have in there onion powder, garlic powder, nutritional yeast, some dried thyme, and some coriander. And then, like I said, our pepper, and then a little salt. And so we'll add our oats. So these are just rolled oats. And we'll mix these up. I'm actually gonna use my hands.
All right.
Because it's easier.
More thorough.
Yep. And then we have a pan on some heat over there. If you want to add the little bit of vegetable oil there, we'll get that warm, and then I'll start breading some tempeh. So with this, we're just kind of drying out the tempeh so that the wet has something to stick to. And then just throw it in there. So I'm gonna give you that. If you wanna get those in the pan, you can just swirl that oil around a little. It's nice to get the tempeh to get on the oil. So we do want to get a little color on the oats. These are just raw oats, so they're not toasted or anything. This is almost like a breaded chicken kind of thing.
Feels like it would make a salad a lot more substantial. A salad eat like a meal.
Yeah.
All right.
But it'd be equally as good with like mashed potatoes and some veggies, or pretty much anything. It's good in a wrap. I featured it on a sandwich the other day, and there was a guy who got the sandwich and said he'd been vegan since 1976, and it was the best sandwich he'd ever had.
Wow.
So that's cool.
All right, these are done?
These are done. So this is like just getting nice and dark. You wouldn't want to go any darker than that. It would taste a little burned, which we don't want. So this is great. We'll pull a couple over here and put them on top of this salad, and we can give them a try.
Oh, fantastic.
So careful, it will be warm.
All right, and in the salad?
Salad is just a nice arugula mix, and then some carrots and radish, and like a creamy herb dressing, which I think will complement the tempeh well.
I need to get more tempeh there.
You get the pepper, and the nice like onion powder, garlic powder, real
Absolutely.
rich.
That's delicious. And the oats give it a great texture. That's really nice. That is definitely a salad that eats like a meal.
Yes.
That is delicious. Chef Katy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're gonna change gears and make something completely different.
Yes.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna make granola bars.
Oh, great.
So I eat a lot of granola bars. I don't know if you do, but it's actually something that I've never made. I've made granola, but I've never made granola bars at home or at the restaurant. So I thought that would be a fun thing to try. The first thing we're gonna do is just take some dates, which are kind of like a binder, and put them in the food processor. Okay, so we do want them to get pretty small so they get incorporated into the rest of the ingredients.
Nice.
So
Good and gooey, so they
Yeah.
stick everything together.
Exactly. And put this in the bowl. And then you have a little saucepan over there
Yes.
on low heat, and we will add some almond butter into the saucepan with that rubber spatula there.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do all of it.
All right.
So I'm using almond butter, but you could use whatever nut butter you like, or even like sunflower seed butter if you have nut allergies or anything like that. Just something creamy. And then we have some coconut oil.
Okay.
Coconut oil is something that solidifies when it's cold, right? So that it kind of acted as a kind of a gel for the whole thing. And then this is bee-free honey. So it's like a vegan honey. It's made with apple juice concentrate and sugar and lemon juice. I didn't make it, I bought it.
All right. So you could use honey if that's something
You could
you're
use honey
comfortable
if
with.
you
Great.
use honey. So we just want to whisk that together and just get everything blended. We're not looking to, boil it or get it really
Right.
hot or
Well,
anything.
gooey is definitely the theme here, isn't
Yes.
it?
So now I'll get started on the rest. So oats, obviously, our star ingredient. Oats and dates, and then I have some toasted pumpkin seeds here, and I have some almonds, chocolate chips, dried cranberries. And then this is some date paste, which is another thing that I found to be a nice little trick since I'm not using honey. Honey is very sticky, right? So the original recipe called for honey, and I found when I just substituted maple syrup that didn't quite
Wasn't
do
quite
it.
sticky enough,
So
huh?
this date paste I found at the store, and I thought I'd give it a try, and it seems to really do the trick. So
Nice.
that's cool.
All right, and I'm sure flavorful as well.
Yes, totally. So I'm gonna kind of blend all this stuff up a little, and then we'll get that whisked a little bit more.
All right.
And this is super simple. Pour that over, and then we stir it all together. And it is nice to use a wooden spoon for this. It just seems to work really well, but you don't have to. So it smells really good
Yeah,
already,
it
too.
does.
You could toast the oats if you wanted
You
as
could
well.
eat that with a
You
spoon.
could just eat this on top of some ice cream.
Right.
That would be good.
Maybe negating the health benefits.
Yes,
huh?
exactly. All right, so then we have just like a baking dish with some parchment paper. And thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll just put this right in here when it's still a little bit warm. Get all that good stuff in there. And then that we just use to press everything down to get it into the corners and get it kind of like an even size in the
right.
pan. So that is done. This is gonna go in the freezer for like 15 minutes, or it can go in the fridge for like half an hour, just to set up and get everything firm.
Okay.
And then when it's done, we'll slice it up and give it a try.
Fantastic. I'll put it in the freezer.
All right, thank you.
All right, we got the granola bars out of the freezer.
Yep, they've been
really
in there.
firmed up.
They have, yeah, so don't forget about them.
They would be hard to cut if we did,
You
right?
could let them thaw a little bit if you do, no big deal. So this should just come right out because of the parchment we put in there. And then we will just cut them up, and you can obviously cut them into whatever size you want, but we'll kind of go with a traditional
Granola bar shape and size. Yeah.
exactly. So Ooh, these are so good. All right, so you get one and I get one.
All right, fantastic.
All right. So good.
It is. These are really, really good. Mm-hmm. The kind of thing that is so good, it will be hard to stop at just one.
I know, it's true. We have a whole pan, it's fine.
Right. So if you don't finish them all in one sitting, how would you store them for later?
So you just want to store them in a covered container, and they'll be good for about a week.
Okay, and even though they'll thaw, they'll still hold together.
Yeah, they'll still definitely, like, these are a little chilled just from being in the freezer, but they'll hold the shape for sure.
All right. Well, Chef Katy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
These are delicious.
We are many things. We're a nonprofit organization. We are a group of people working together to save our genetic heritage. We love and appreciate seeds, and seeds especially that were brought into this country when people immigrated.
So today we're planting a bunch of different flowers for evaluation.
Diane Ott-Wheely co-founded Seed Savers Exchange in 1975. It's located just outside of Decorah on an 850-acre farm. The organization's entire mission revolves around saving seeds. But it didn't start out this large. In fact, it began with just 2 types of seed that Diane's grandfather entrusted to her: a small German pink tomato and her grandpa's morning glories.
So we started with a seed that my grandparents always grew. He went back into his bedroom and came out with this little white pillbox full of these tiny little black seeds. He said, "Did you know that my parents brought the seed over when they immigrated from Bavaria?" And I had never heard that story before. And just holding those seeds was a link to my ancestors that I never knew or thought about. So we had this treasure. We thought, wow, how often does this happen? That elderly gardeners pass away, and what happens to their seed?
From those 2 plants, Seed Savers grew into what it is today.
That is marigold seed.
It has collected, cataloged, and stored thousands of varieties of seeds received from hobbyists, home gardeners, and its network of members over the last 4 decades.
It goes back to saving biodiversity. It's important to have all these varieties because one of them potentially could be a really good radish that's going to grow well in your particular climate. It could be really good for disease resistance. And so you can see like the diversity that we have in all these types of radishes. This one.
It's sort of an abstract concept, genetic diversity. But when they can see it growing in a garden, it makes sense. It puts it all together.
Need me to get the door?
No, I got it.
Seed Savers houses the largest non-governmental seed bank. Inside, the seeds are stored at below freezing temperatures, and they can stay there for decades. The vigor and viability of seeds stored even at sub-zero temperatures declines over time. So another major part of Seed Savers' job is to grow the plants to create new seeds.
These varieties are just from our seed bank. So we look at different genetic characteristics like time to maturity, how productive they are, how tall the plants get, the taste qualities of the varieties. We do a pretty thorough documentation for each of the crops in this garden.
Seed saving is not difficult. When you think about all the seed that we have today, it's here because our ancestors saved seed, and they didn't have degrees in horticulture or fancy equipment. They just knew to save the seed because it was important, because that was going to provide their next year's garden. Every seed has a story. It's so important for us to have the stories and the seed, because otherwise it's just vacant. It doesn't have the beauty of the stories behind it. Who grew it? How did they eat it? How did they prepare it? Where did it come from? And the stories that everybody has about, their Sunday dinners with the string beans and the sliced tomatoes. So we started Seed Savers with that.
That's it for this week's show. We've learned that the story of our state and its people can be told deliciously through something we all share, a love of food. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time for another episode of Iowa Ingredient. Keep in mind that circumstances are always changing, so please take a moment to check ahead if you're planning to visit a restaurant, farm, or event featured on the show.
Funding for Iowa Ingredient is provided by the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust, Chef Lisa Laval of Trellis Cafe and the River Center, and Chef Michael Laval of the Des Moines Embassy Club. For more than 100 years, the Des Moines Embassy Club has provided a place to dine, celebrate, and do business, located in downtown Des Moines and in West Des Moines. And Friends, the Iowa PBS Foundation.